Hi, my name is Serena Keeney-Horsch. I teach at Washington Grove Elementary School in near Washington, D.C. in Montgomery County Public Schools in Gaithersburg, Maryland.
Hi, I'm Carrie Valencia. I teach at Brown Station Elementary School. I'm a kindergarten teacher and I teach in Spanish. And I am also with Montgomery County Public Schools.
So we were going to talk about some third pillar examples. The third pillar of dual language education is socio-cultural competence, for those of you that don't know. And we were going to share some examples of things that we've done in our class because they bring us a lot of joy and have touched our hearts and our students' hearts. Did you want to start?
Sure. I have many examples, but one that really comes to mind is from last year. It was towards the end of the year, and all the kids were in literacy stations, and I was working with a small group, and I overheard a little girl say to her table mates something to the effect like, my papi doesn't like when I talk to black people. So I immediately shut everything down, and I called all the kids to the carpet, and I pulled out a couple of books that I have in my classroom library that I have separate for read-alouds. One is Todos los colores de nuestra piel, and I did a lesson on accepting our differences, and we talked about skin color, and we talked about this, like why our skin color is the color it is. We talked about melanina and el sol and all this that kind of stuff. And we created an anchor chart as a class. And I think those moments are when teachers have to be listening for those things and take those moments and break them down. And it can be done in kindergarten, because I've heard a lot, I'm sure you have too, as being a kindergarten teacher in the past, that some topics are off limits for younger kids. But I think that that's when we need to be talking about it the most.
I completely agree, and it makes me think about a situation that happened in my classroom last year. I don't know if you guys know the book called Soñadores by Yugi Morales, Dreamers in English, and it's one of my favorite books, and it always, every time I read it, it brings tears to my eyes, and the kids always say, "Ay, señora Keeney-Horsch, why are you crying?" And I said, it's just so touching. So we read the book at the beginning of the year when I was teaching first grade last year, and then at the end of the year, for the last week of school, I said to the students, "Hey, tell me one of your favorite things that happened this school year, or one of your favorite books, or one of your favorite activities." And they said, "Oh, I want to read Soñadores again," which of course filled my heart with a lot of joy and happiness and pride that they would want to read a book that's such a favorite book to me. So we started reading it, and it's so beautiful. If you don't know the story, it's the story of a mom who has a dream, and her dream is to have a child. And when after she has the child, her next dream is to go to a new place, and they have to cross a bridge, and they leave their heart in the place that they were leaving, and and then all of the experiences that they have while they're in the new place that they move to. And one of the experiences is that they're washing the baby in a fountain, and the police comes, and my students are just mortified. Oh no, what's going to happen when the police comes? And they also can really relate to that, because they've been in situations where they've done things without knowing that that was the right or the wrong thing to do, and they've been corrected or been in trouble because of that. And then towards the end, something very special happens. And I'm not going to give that part away, because I want everybody to go and buy that book and read that book. Love you, Yugi. So the second read at the end of the school year, during doing the favorite things time, was really special, because in the second reading, the kids said, "What's an inmigrante?" Now, we had read the book before at the beginning of the year, and of course it's all the same language, but this time they noticed another thing, another vocabulary, another experience. And they said, "What's an inmigrante?" And I said, "Well, you tell me, what's an inmigrante?" And they said, "Well, I'm not sure." And I said, "Well, let's look at the book, and what do you have to do? How do you have to be an inmigrante?" And they were like, "Well, you have to be so brave, right? Because you're leaving a place where you know a language, potentially going to a place where you don't know the language. You're leaving a place where you've left your heart." And that part always gets me. And I said, "Well, what does that mean, leaving your heart? Like, are they taking it out of their body and leaving it there?" And they said, "No," because of course, people think that 5, 6, 7-year-olds can't be imaginative about language. They think that they're very concrete, but they said, no, Señora Kini Horsch, it means that leaving the things that you love and the things that you know and going far away and maybe not even seeing those things again. And I was so touched by them because so many of the kids can relate to that. I have family in Honduras, or I have family in El Salvador, I have family in China or in Pakistan. And so they were like, well, we have to call our family. We have to talk about our corazón because my corazón is with my grandma who's still back in El Salvador. And I said, okay, so you said that they're brave and they have to learn a new language, so that means you're extra smart if you're un inmigrante, right? Yes. And they said, and they have to have a really big heart to be able to go and love new people and love new places because their heart's at home, so then their heart had to grow. And they said, and they have to be extra hardworking because you had to leave a place, maybe you had a job, to then go to a new place and get a different kind of job possibly. And it was so beautiful because there were a number of kids in the class who their only experience about inmigración is what they see in the news and what they hear about in their families' homes. And what was so touching was to see the difference, like the change in their attitude and their perspective about what an inmigrante is, because oftentimes our students and their parents hear about inmigrantes and the negative things and the negative portrayals in the news. And here they said, oh, inmigrante has to have a big heart, they have to be brave, they have to be extra smart, they have to be extra hardworking. Wait a second, inmigrantes are so incredible. And so I got to see the students whose families or they themselves were inmigrantes and the experience of feeling empowered, and that what they experienced and what their family experienced was so beautiful. And then other students who their experience with inmigración are the students in the classroom and hearing about it in the news, but getting a different perspective with the people that they know and they can relate to. And it was so beautiful and so touching that I was like, yes, oh, here we are, talking about the third pillar and disrupting the system, because here are kids getting a different view. And if our kids grow up with these thoughts and these ideas, they'll have changed the world and they'll be changing the perspective that everybody has on inmigración.